very, very sad example of what happens with pound seizure was an elderly dog by the name of Royal. He was a 13-year-old golden retriever who was much loved by his family. The family had moved from Alberta to Ontario. He had Alberta tags on. He had a collar with his name on it. He had hot spots that had been treated. He'd been groomed. He wandered off his property and got picked up by a neighbor who didn't know who he was. And so she called the local animal control. That dog ended up in the pound, was purchased by the university. The minute he came off the truck, was killed because he was too old for research.
So this is what really happens.
But you see, it was over a long weekend, and the pound was closed, and the people weren't there, and there was nobody to answer any questions. So the minute that pound was open, she was there, but Royal was already gone. With enormous amount of pressure applied by our organization in particular on the university, on the Canadian Council on Animal Care, on the Ontario Minister of Agriculture and Food who deal with animal research, they finally told the family what happened to this dog. And so you think this is an elderly dog who's been loved all his life. And I think, you know, factually speaking, that the university didn't want people to know because it's highly controversial. Who wants to be seen as killing somebody's 13-year-old dog who's much loved and wanted? How is it in this day and age that we know that animals who get lost, not because it's any fault of the people who share their homes, but it just happens, are at risk of going to a research laboratory? How can that possibly be? So in Ontario, we're trying to get the law changed, of course. We have to expose that. We have to show who these animals are. Project Jessie was a dog that ended up at Bowmanville Pound because her family split up and nobody wanted her. And we were called because we were rescuing animals out of those pounds because they were going to research. We were called to say, look, she's here, come and get her quick. They've already called for the truck, and we weren't able to get there in time, so she disappeared into the system, and we never actually knew what happened to her. So we decided that we would establish Project Jessie as a rescue of animals that were at risk of going to research in pounds and shelters. In Ontario, we've done some in Quebec as well, but in Ontario it was for 25 years we've done that.